This is going to be part 2A. So just bear with me. I have just a lot in trying in there's a lot I have to deal with in trying to get this out. So I believe part 2 ended on the note of me discussing how sorcerers or wizards work via their devices here in the USA. So I touched on someone in education, how someone accused him, a child, student accused him of inappropriate touch. Let me say that again. He was accused of inappropriate touch. Then, during that same weekend, more specifically on the Sunday, someone who doesn't greet me with a hug randomly gave me a side hug because of, I believe it has to do with the wizards and sorcerers being active on the devices and wanting us to be in a scandal. So through hidden surveillance or whatever they may see or whatever they hear, they would start to now dishonor. God help me to know that in doing so, they would dishonor. I saw dishonor their head. So God wants us to walk in a continuous atmosphere or feeling of peace, mental peace. He came that we may have peace. And God is the head of our life. And in marriage, men are symbolic of God as the head, and God is their head. And so when I was led to dishonor their head in doing witchcraft and wizardry and annoying people with these tactics of witchcraft and wizardry, trying to put them in a scandal, basically to do something like that, which that was how he addressed it. He could have sought the Lord on how to address it, but that's how he dealt with it, the random side hug. But by doing this, he would dishonor let me say it like this: dishonor their head. Basically, that would create for him or for me, because of these wizards connected to us via devices, this warfare of him being called an adulterer and me being called an adulteress, and we're not that. And this is 2026, Memorial Day weekend. This is Sunday. During the Memorial Day weekend. So I know that I don't have any adulterous feelings for him. I know he doesn't have. I sought the Lord. So we didn't have anything. But these wizards and adulterers like to make social life very uncomfortable. Because one, they want Satan to be worshipped. They want to have the church or church members or children of God dishonor their bodies, dishonor their head, and all that. So dishonoring their head, what does that mean? Well, If your mind was peaceful and you're at peace with the people in the car, or the people in your environment, and you're ignoring the wizard, by doing this, the wizard gets hyper and starts to yabber and starts to, it's the blasphemous angel that seeks to want to blaspheme the holy people of God. So they would want to call me adulteress, adulteress, adulteress. I mean, sitting there was like, it's annoying. So you can see how it dishonors your head. It's disrespectful. Then two, God is supposed to be the head of your life. So Satan desires to want to say things to dishonor him. Then he is in a marriage. And although this doesn't really happen due to how, I guess, wicked angels mold the men and the women to think, if it was true, his head would be dishonored, right? Because the man is symbolic of God as the head within a marriage, and he's a married man. And so his head will be dishonored if they started to yabber and start to say adulterer, but I don't believe they did. Satan has a special hatred against women and against people with brown skin. So dishonor, disrespect, make it an uncomfortable space. That's what these wicked angels with these wizards and sorcerers like to do. So one of the things I would say is this. I was led to where it says, suffer the little children to come unto me. So I believe this man, I believe he teaches to some degree. I used to work with children, and then the elderly man in the neighborhood who worked at a school who was falsely accused, he worked in education. So basically the adversary would do this to adults because they don't want the children to have good educators. And I've seen it time and time again. So when God led me, time and time again happen, or it happened time and time again. So when I'm led to suffer the little children to come unto me, I'm aware, I was made aware that this is what they do because they don't want neither him nor I nor Mr. whoever the elderly man is in the neighborhood to be in education. They don't want them to have good educators. So this is what they would do. And some people don't understand when they start carrying on and making people feel irritable and angry and uncomfortable and miserable. That's witchcraft working with wizardry or wizard devices causing that feeling to be in the body. So God will help me to know they just don't want children to come to God. And there are other reasons why they do that. They want Satan to be worshipped. They want demons to be reconstituted in a body. They want Babylon to be resurrected. So they're anti-God. Okay? So teaching in the USA is not just you just come and just teach in the USA. For many, it's a spiritual warfare. And the adversary would work through certain individuals, especially if they have wizard devices, to one, lie on you to get you out, accuse you of being a pedophile, and if you're not sanctified, some educators or facilitators of education end up being in pedophilia. But when you're falsely accused of pedophilia, or even falsely accused of being an adulterer or whatever, here in the USA, it can be so damaging. And so basically, the adversary just don't want the education system in the USA to have godly educators or good educators. They don't want the children to be close to anyone who's close to God. They don't want the children to come to know Jesus. So, angels, wicked angels who operate with wizards, and these wizards operate via devices remotely in individuals. They have knowledge to kill, steal, destroy, and deceive human beings. The wicked angels who fell, especially. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the next thing. So if they have knowledge to do these things, they will come up with tactics via their devices, irritate this person standing next to that person via devices, and they would want false accusations to be done in order to basically have you dismissed or not in education. So they have knowledge on how to kill, steal, destroy, or deceive human beings. And they'll lie on you. People will lie on you. They'll cause misunderstanding to happen. The wizards would, you can hear them. I can hear them trying to mess with my speech. They would cause people to misunderstand what you're saying and hyperfixate on something that's not really the message of what someone is saying, so that you would end up now with a misunderstanding, and the misunderstanding would be a lie. So they would cause people to end up lying on other people. So they have tactics on how to get rid of you in the USA out of education. But let me not say that, because the wizards want to be acting as if they're with me and they're not. And they want to do things, and I think they want to be called help, but God help me to know, they speak with double tongue. So the next thing to be discussed: no, you cannot have sex with angels. I believe in part 1, I must have touched on angels. You cannot have sex with angels. Yes, angels. What I want to say, yes, angels can come in human form, but there's no way you can, even if an angel had a penis, there's no way that you can bring forth a child from an angel. God did not put living seeds into an angel that comes in human form. So I don't perceive God to be a God that permits angels to copulate with human beings. Angels are spirit, and humans have a body. Okay, so and we stay in this body that became corruptible after sin in Genesis 3 until we die. So we must be aware that angels, what they can do is come in human appearance, but they can always go back into the spirit form. Whoever came up with this copulating with angels idea, that's an imagination and a thought that exalted itself against the knowledge of God. Angels are spirit. I believe there was a concert, and there was a female who shared that she wanted to leave before the crowd would be gathered when they're leaving the concert. And it was a Beyonce concert, but I don't know which city. And she was coming down the stairs, and this man was coming up the stairs, and she saw that his eyes turned red, or his eyes were red. And when she went to turn her head to look back at him she perceived that he would still be walking up the stairs, she saw nothing. So angels can do that, especially if it's a wicked angel. So she's on her way out, and that spirit is on its way in. And if you experience mass shooting, fights, and certain things towards an end of a concert or at a concert, oftentimes it's the activity of a wicked angel, because, considering Judas, wicked angels or Satan would enter into the heart or mind of an individual, their spirit. Just as God's words are spirit and they are life, and God is a spirit, angels and Satan, wicked angels, are spirit. So they'll bring an idea or thought or word or something, some conviction, to make people fight or brawl or shoot or kill one another. Okay? They will enter into the heart of an individual. Okay? Please be aware of that. There's another situation where this was something shared, where a female was a babysitter. And I believe in the 90s, she was offered to be paid $20 per hour, which is good. And I think if you were to figure out the numbers, what would that be today? That would be like $50 to $75 per hour or something like that. And so she was babysitting this child. It's a toddler. I believe the toddler It's not at the stage where he can really